Talking of special, I'd like to introduce David Orr, who's the chairman of the Clarion Housing Association. David walks the walk, talks the talk. Come on up. Clarion supported the reports that you've seen on the table, and David is really inspirational in as a leader in this particular field. So I'm delighted to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. It's always just a little bit daunting if someone introduces you as inspirational. I mean, where do you go after that? Thank you. I've been inspiring. This is not where I intended to start, but I'm going to start with Ian's dad. So you said he was in his late 80s and found something that engaged him and gave him some additional purpose and meaning in his life. We tend to think that old people have memories and histories. Old people have futures and ambitions. And unless we start from that understanding, then we're starting from the wrong place. We need to believe the demographic charts that I think it was Erin showed us earlier on. I think we've all seen them. We all know them. But if you assume that everyone over 65 is past it, what a vast array of human potential you're writing off at that moment. Actually, I think that we need to change our thinking about this. Clarion has a resident network called Clarion 55s, which is for people over the age of 55. We really have to believe that 55 is sort of early midlife. It's not the point at which you start getting old. The point at which you start getting old is when your brain decides that you're old, nothing else. And people in their 80s, I actually have a brother-in-law in his late 80s who is about the most vibrant, engaged person I know. And the idea that he is coasting towards death is just farcical. So let's get that in place. So that wasn't where I was planning to start. I'll try not to use too much time. Today has been absolutely fascinating, and I have loved the examples of the way that people are thinking, not just creatively, but genuinely strategically about how we join things up, how we create connections. And human beings are social beings. We thrive on connection. We want to be connected to people. COVID introduced this horrible phrase, social distancing. Horrible, not because just we had to do it, but because I thought it was profoundly the wrong thing to call it. What we were doing was physically distancing ourselves at the same time as everyone was scrambling to find ways of retaining social connection. And we were doing it increasingly digitally because there hadn't been ways of, there hadn't been the same requirement to do it like that. And that had a really big impact on many, many people in later life who suddenly had a renewed purpose in getting to understand how digital communications work. So we are absolutely about connections and social connectivity. I've loved the kind of master planning approach. And I'm pleased to say that at Clarion, because we are now of a size that enables us to be lead developers in large-scale new developments, and we want to build multi-generational communities, multi-tenure communities. We want to build the communities of the kind of village that we were hearing about earlier, where we will have a long-term engagement. Then absolutely, the principles behind intergenerational design are absolutely a part of the way that we approach that challenge. But I mainly want to talk about the 96 and the 4. Erin, again, reminded us that in the UK, 96% of us will live all of our lives in the community and will never live in specialist accommodation for older people. Richard Best is quite right. We need that. It needs to be part of the pattern of provision, but we shouldn't obsess about it. Because this may be hyperbole, but my general impression is that when you're talking about housing for older people, we spend 96% of our time talking about the 4% who will live in specialist accommodation and 4% of our time talking about the 96% who won't. So I'm going to talk about the 96% who won't. And work that we're doing in Clarion and work that I did when I was privileged to chair the Good Home Inquiry for the Centre for Ageing Better, which was focused exclusively on our existing homes and how we can make life better for people in the homes that they already live in. So I'm going to start with an example. Has anyone heard of ageist lighting? Imagine that. How can lighting be ageist? Right, so here is the train of thought in my mind about ageist lighting. We defined in the Good Home Inquiry what a good home is. Not a technical definition. We didn't talk about specifics of space standards. We talked about the things that people want in their home. And we all know what they are. We've actually heard quite a lot about it this morning already. We've heard about people want space. They want light. They want their homes to be safe. They want good energy efficiency. We want our homes to be flexible. We want to be connected. We want to be able to engage quickly and easily with the outside world and with the people who live around us because we are social beings and we want that kind of connectivity. Do you know that the thing you are most likely to do in your home, to change in your home as you age, is buy more light in one form or another? That's what we do. That's because, I know your eyes get a bit worse, you need the reading lamp and all the rest of it. Well, think about institutional lighting in places for older people, where we know we need light. You've got strip lights and big glaring places of light everywhere, but none of it looks nice. And we want nice things in our lives, don't we? So Clarion, with our Clarion 55 network and the Royal College of Art, we've been doing some work on effective lighting design for older people. As we get older, what constitutes good lighting design? We have a lighting design specialist working with us, and when that work is completed, the outcome of it will be an integral part of the Clarion Design Guide. That's not a kind of start from scratch, greenfield site, huge change, but it's the kind of thing that can make a huge difference to the lives of many, many people quickly. And we're doing a range of different things like that through the Clarion approach to age-friendly communities. We have an intergenerational social action program. Again, worked through with our Clarion 55 group about how we can create social connections where older people and younger people, sometimes 90-year-olds and 9-year-olds, but sometimes also 60-year-olds and 16 or 26 or 36-year-olds are meeting and doing things together. This thing about connection. We've had over 700 people involved in these projects. They're growing. There's going to be more and more of them. And almost all of them become self-sustaining extremely quickly. We are participating in Home Share, a project where people, older people, with rooms available in their homes, let them for up to 18 months to young people who need somewhere to live. Connections. We need to think creatively about how we deal with our social requirement as humans for connection. And to do that, we need to think not just about how we build new places, but how we make the places that we already have much better. And we do that not normally by major regeneration. My goodness, we need major regeneration in some places. But we do it mainly by incremental, small, nudge-type changes that you can do over and over again in lots and lots of different places. No single one of these looks like a big shining beacon that the rest of the world can look at. But every single one of them makes a profound difference to the lives of the individuals who are affected by it. So in the Good Home Inquiry, where we explored a whole lot of different things about how we can improve the quality of our existing homes, and particularly with a focus on the impact that has for older people, we really talked pretty much throughout about what are the things that we can do that make it easier for people to do in their own homes the things that they know they need to do, but feel it's too big, I don't know enough about it, I don't know where to start, I'm not sure about the cowboy builders who will come through the door. How do we give people confidence? And we suggested that there needs to be a network of good home agencies around the country that would provide that kind of information and advice, provide trusted suppliers of the services that people need. All of this is about, we tested all the work that we did through a range of different ways of engaging with people over the age of 55. That's what we did. And everything that we put into our recommendations had been approved, as it were, by that group of people asking really great questions about the recommendations that we were proposing to make. But all of it is about saying, we don't have to accept what we have at the moment as being the last word in what is possible. We can, all of us, think creatively and imaginatively about the small things that we can do that will make a difference. And the last one that I want to mention to you, just as an example, is a Clarion example. It's called the Wellbeing 10. Clarion Response is our repairs and maintenance business. Clarion Response colleagues carry out something like 250,000 visits to people's homes a year. Every single one of those people is being trained in Wellbeing 10. Again, something that was worked through with our Clarion 55 group. And the Wellbeing 10 program is, if you're in someone's home, allow yourself to take 10 minutes to ask them how they are. See some of the indicators that might suggest that someone is isolated or someone is really struggling. Don't just go in and look at the physical problem that you're there for. Go in and talk to the person who lives there. Wellbeing 10. What a fantastic thing that would be if we were able to do that right across the country and create those moments of connection that allow you to understand that there are things that we can do quickly and easily that make a really profound difference. I think that is what an age-friendly strategy is really all about. Thank you.